Most experienced news team. This is NBC 29 HD News at 11.
New at 11, police are putting more officers on patrol around Charlottesville to catch drunk drivers coming from their Super Bowl parties. Plus, volunteers are working to clean up the views along this scenic highway through central Virginia. But NBC 29 is beginning tonight with breaking news. Thanks for staying up late with us. I'm Matt Talhelm. Right now, firefighters are battling flames inside a home in Albemarle County. Check out this video. It's just into the NBC 29 newsroom from the scene in the 2700 block of Milton Hills Drive. That's near the old UVA Milton Field. You can see firefighters there. They were called to this home around 8:30 tonight. You can see the flames inside that house there. The good news, firefighters tell us no one is injured. At this point, there's no word on what sparked that blaze, but of course, we'll continue to follow it and bring you any updates throughout this newscast. Now to a developing story tonight. The Justice Department is appealing a judge's ruling that blocked President Trump's executive order banning immigrants from 7 Muslim-majority countries. That ruling allowed some of those people to rush back to the U.S. to be united there with their loved ones. The Trump administration filed that request to set aside the ruling late tonight. Meanwhile, Americans are once again taking to the streets in protest. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest.
In cities like Washington, Miami, and New York, protesters took to the streets again Saturday, pushing a pro-immigration message, urging the Trump administration to drop its executive order barring people from 7 majority Muslim countries from coming to the U.S.
Everyone deserves to come here for a new life. Refugees, Syrians, Libyans, Yemeni, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from.
The protesters encouraged by a Seattle federal judge's ruling late Friday, which puts the travel ban on hold for now.
I find that a temporary restraining order is in the public interest.
The law is a powerful thing. It has the ability to hold everybody accountable to it, and that includes the President of the United States.
President Donald Trump not impressed. In a video recorded before the court ruling, he defended his executive order.
The executive order establishes a process to develop new vetting and mechanisms to ensure those coming into America love and support our people, that they have good intention.
Trump tweeting Saturday morning he believes the ruling is ridiculous and he predicts that it will be overturned. But until that happens, about 60,000 people who had their visas revoked last week and people from the 7 banned countries are now free to come to the U.S. All federal agencies are complying with the court order. If they do come, however, it will be at their own peril. With constant legal maneuvering going on, their status could change at any moment. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine fired back at President Trump's tweets with his own response on Twitter today. Kaine tweeted, "Mr. President, don't attack judges. Fix your bad policy." NBC 29 covering Virginia tonight. Dominion does not expect delays in the approval process for the Atlantic Coast Pipeline. That's despite changes in leadership at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. A Democratic commissioner stepped down Friday, leaving the 5-member panel with just 2 commissioners. It needs 3 members to reach a quorum. Right now, FERC is unable to approve or reject natural gas pipelines or settle proposed energy company mergers. A Dominion spokesman says President Trump should have plenty of time to fill the vacancies before the Atlantic Coast Pipeline goes before commissioners in the summer. The U.S. Supreme Court has set a date to hear the case of a Virginia school board that wants to prevent a transgender teenager from using the boys' bathroom at his high school. The justices are set to hear arguments on March 28th. The case involves 17-year-old Gavin Grimm, who was born female but identifies as male. The school board in Gloucester County adopted a policy requiring students either use the restroom that corresponds with their biological gender or a private restroom. A lower court ordered the school board to accommodate Grimm, but that order is on hold. Former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell is back to practicing law. The Virginian Pilot reports that McDonnell returned to the Virginia Beach law firm of Poole, Brook and Plumley. It's where he worked for more than a decade. McDonnell's law license was suspended after being convicted of public corruption in 2014, but the U.S. Supreme Court overturned that conviction in June. Last month, McDonnell also started teaching a government course at Regent University. Authorities are investigating a freight train derailment in Suffolk. The derailment happened just before 7 o'clock this morning. Investigators say 44 coal cars derailed, dumping coal onto the tracks. No injuries are reported, but at least 2 buildings and 1 vehicle sustained minor damage. Crews are working to remove the damaged cars and to clean up that coal. A stretch of scenic highway through central Virginia is clear of a whole lot of litter and debris tonight, thanks to a group of volunteers. The Friends of 151 met near Blue Mountain Brewery to pick up trash along that busy road. NBC 29's Victoria Resolo is live in the newsroom to show us how this helps some nearby businesses. Victoria?
Hi, Matt. Well, the cleanup stretches over 14 miles from the intersection with 250 all the way out to Devil's Backbone. Today, volunteers worked on removing some of that trash over a 5-mile stretch. Without cars zooming by, the Blue Ridge Mountains along Route 151 in Nelson County look picturesque. But add drivers to the equation, and that's where volunteers say the trash comes from. Litter tossed out onto the roadway or garbage falling from trucks on the way to the dump. Plastic bottles to car parts.
Every time I go up and down the road, I see the beauty in the background and I see the trash on the side.
Volunteers with the Friends of 151 group say cleaning up the highway is no small task.
This is not easy work. It's fun though, and we were motivated even on cold days like today to come out here and just make it, clean the area and make it just a little more sightly for everyone, for tourists and for the community members and the businesses around here.
Some even went off-road to pick up trash behind the guardrails.
It's such a beautiful road we have down here. Now that it's the way I come home every day, you see it. So you really notice when it's clean and beautiful, and it's a great cause.
The group says keeping the area free of trash is not only a benefit for them, but also for the businesses that use the beauty of the land to attract tourists.
It's a good way to meet others in the community, and it's a good way to give back to your community. It's important to keep our areas beautiful.
The groups collected about 30 bags of trash today. If you want to volunteer with the Friends of 151, their next cleanup will be on Earth Day on April 22nd. Live in the Charlottesville newsroom, Victoria Resolo, NBC 29 News at 11.
Thank you, Victoria. Police in central Virginia are stepping up patrols on Super Bowl Sunday to stop drunk drivers. AAA says there were 33 alcohol-related crashes in Virginia on Super Bowl Sunday last year. Virginia State Police will conduct a Trooper Bowl traffic safety campaign in the Charlottesville area Sunday. They'll have extra patrols out there, extra troopers on patrol from 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon through 3 a.m. Monday, looking for impaired or reckless drivers. Best advice, of course, is designate a sober driver or plan to take a taxi or rideshare service. Flappers and bootleggers are out tonight at Keswick Hall to raise money for the University of Virginia Children's Hospital. Speakeasy is the theme of the 10th anniversary main event gala, which has raised more than $2 million for the Children's Hospital. Money raised tonight will go toward renovating the pediatric inpatient units and adding a space for a new bone marrow transplant program.
You can get bone marrow transplants in other cities far away, but providing bone marrow transplant services here in Charlottesville will allow the families to remain closer to home. And we also have an immunotherapy program that is coming to the UVA.
Construction for the bone marrow transplant space will start in the next 3 months. Valentine's Day, of course, is just right around the corner, and a Charlottesville nonprofit wants to deliver your sweetheart some handmade treats. Community Bikes is hosting its 14th annual Bake and Bike sale right now through February 14th. Volunteers bake scones and create personal valentines to be hand-delivered by bike-riding cupids throughout Valentine's Day.
We've really seen it blossom into a really exciting fundraiser. We get so many different groups of people involved, from community members to students at UVA, and we partner with Haven to bake all of our scones.
Community Bikes works to encourage bike riding around Charlottesville. This is the organization's biggest annual fundraiser. Community Bikes hopes to raise at least $3,000. To order or to volunteer, you can click the news links at NBC29.com. A robotic surgeon is allowing doctors at Augusta Health to treat patients with more precision than ever before. Plus, we will show you how a Charlottesville sports bar is getting ready for Super Bowl Sunday. Find out just how many wings football fans will eat during the big game.
And the seasonally chilly temperatures we've seen the last couple days now, they're still with us through our nighttime hours, but a warming trend beginning for Sunday and especially next week. Maybe some 60-degree readings next week. And any systems that approach it needs a plain old rain chance. I'll explain when it gets here how much rain we could be seeing coming up.
And the Virginia men's basketball team goes on the road to face ACC rival Syracuse. We will have highlights and post-game reaction a little later in sports.